guys, this is Savannah, and today we're going to be all talking about dopamine. And first, let's talk about why I chose dopamine. I actually chose dopamine because it is really talked about in psychology, and that is what I'm wanting to major in. Dopamine is really important to psychology because it is a chemical messenger in the brain, and that's what psychology is about. It's about the messages that your brain is sending throughout your body and how your brain responds to these messages and all that good stuff. Let's talk about the chemical structure of this dopamine. We have 8 carbons represented by our gray. We do have 11 hydrogen represented by our little white balls. And then we have a nitrogen, that is our blue over here. And then we have our 2 oxygens. This is actually a neuromodulatory molecule. It's a really fancy word for what this is. And then let's see how this actually interacts with things around it. We have this module right here, and these little black dots that you see are actually this whole molecule right here. Gets really itty bitty, and they are being transported from these dopamine transporters and being received by our dopamine receptors here at the bottom. They're all different shapes, that's why they're represented by different pills, and they receive this dopamine in different ways. And then, like I said, you can see that there are different shapes with these different pills. And so, we talked about the science of it all. Now let's get into how we made this, our little project, how we made this build. First, with any build, we gotta have our safety. We have our gloves, because we're touching a lot of chemicals, we're touching a lot of paint, just a lot of different stuff. We don't want it all mixed on our hands. And then we have our closed-toe shoes, my boots, and that is just, we don't want to drop anything on our toes. We gotta protect our toes. We don't want anything nasty getting on that. And we did use a whole lot of household products that we had here, just because we wanted to show that anybody can do science. Anybody can be a scientist if you have the drive, the imagination, the creativity, and just the mindset that you can do it. And so we have our spray foam that we used for a lot of this model right here, and that we had on hand. We have our wooden dowel sticks that we did use for a different project. Like I said, my dad's vitamin pills here that represented our dopamine receptors. We already had those on hand. And then we have over here, we did have to buy just a few things. It was maybe 20, 25 bucks. Was the styrofoam base that we have here, these little balls, and then like I said, we already had these wooden dowel rods on hand. And also, in the spirit that science is for everybody, we didn't get it right on the first time, and that's okay. We're gonna show you our failed projects. So actually, project number 1 that failed is the bottom half of this. And we did reuse it because materials, like I said, they're expensive, and so we're gonna reuse what we can. Number 2 right here, we used it for the base. Like I said, we're reusing things here. Right here is number 3. We really had a hard time getting this spray foam to dry completely, and conveniently, it decided to dry as soon as we got finished. So we didn't get to use this one. This one is, we got aluminum foil, and we were molding it to kind of try to be this top part, and it wasn't working for what we needed it to. And then, like I said, we also reused this one to mix some paint in there, just because that's what we gotta do. And then we have this right here. It was second version of this. We put some paper mache on it. We used paper towels we already had on hand, and some glue as well we already had on hand. And like this one, it wasn't really doing what we needed it to do, so we did scrap that, and we did end with our final project, and that is this. We used our spray foam, carved it, painted it, and all that good stuff. So I hope y'all enjoyed learning about dopamine as much as I enjoyed doing this project. I'll see y'all the next time.